Today, we are going to be going over the top 5 most underrated pets in Prodigy. These are pets that are basically some of the best in the game, but for some reason, people just don't talk about them. Really quickly, before we head straight in the video, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. And anyway, let's get started. Alrighty, so we're going to be going over the top 5 most underrated pets, and number 5 is going to be Pyrro. Now, for some reason, I hear nobody talking about Pyrro, even though it is literally a mythical epic with some insane stats. Now, Pyrro's element is going to be fire, which, as many of you guys know, is my personal favorite element, but it's also one of the best elements in the entire game. Along with that, it got 550 health, which for a mythical epic is okay. It's got 730 speed and 450 defense. Now you're probably saying, Camden, you skipped over power. That's because it has 630 power, which is an amazing amount of power, which is why I'm including Pyrro on this list. If you have 630 power, you are going to be doing insane amounts of damage. It's not even funny. Now, along with that, Pyrro of course is also going to be a buddy, because of course it is a mythical epic. So as you can see, I can put it on as my buddy, and it of course can follow me around. So it is giving us the number 5 spot on the list. A lot of people don't talk about Pyrro, but I believe it to be very, very good. Now, moving on to the number 4 spot on the list, we're not going to be choosing a mythical epic because a decent amount of people know them. We're going to be choosing just some normal pet, and that pet is going to be Drago. Now, I think the reason Drago is underrated is because so few people have it. For those of you guys who do not know, Drago is not obtainable as of current, which means you have to have had him before Prodigy removed him from the game because he was a starter pet. Now, why is he underrated? Well, I just feel like because so few people have them, nobody talks about Drago, when in reality, it's one of the best pets in Prodigy, and I feel like I've told you guys this in some of my other videos. So let's take a look at its stat. It is common element, so you're probably saying, well, it's common, why doesn't no one talk about it? Well, I already mentioned that basically they removed it from the game, but anyway, element is going to be fire, which is amazing, as we talked about with the previous pet. Health is going to be 870, speed is going to be 420, power is going to go ahead and be 470, and defense is going to be 490. The big part about his stats is his health. His health is at 870, and for those of you guys who do not know, 870 health is almost as good as it gets. Drago is a tank. Along with the fact that he is fire, I truly believe him to be a very, very good pet, but I feel like people underrate Drago for some reason. People do not talk about him enough, so I thought, you know what, I have to end up putting him on this list. So we are moving in to the top 3. These pets are very, very good pets, but they're not mythical epics. They're not pets that are huge. They're not pets that people use a lot, which is why we're putting them on the underrated pets list. But the number 3 most underrated pet in Prodigy has to be Praxis. Now, Praxis is a very, very good pet, and I'm going to explain why. Starting off, he doesn't look that scary, which is why I think he's part of the underrated tier. He's not a huge pet, doesn't have huge fangs or anything. That's why people underrate him. But when you look at his stats, his element is going to be Storm, which is probably the second best, one you could have, maybe behind fire, maybe behind physical. You could probably go 2 or 3, but his health is 560, which is good enough. His speed is 580, his defense is 470, his power is 700 720. If you are going up against, like, you know, a level 100 wizard, right? If you're going up against a little level 100 wizard and you have 720 power from your pet, you are going to be able to put up an absolutely amazing fight. Praxis is absolutely insane. I literally have no idea why people do not talk about Praxis more. I truly believe he's an absolutely elite pet, and that's why I'm putting him on this list as underrated. Now, we are going to be moving in to the top 2 pets. These are the most underrated of the underrated. Basically, no one ever uses them, no one talks about them, but they actually are some of the best pets in all of Prodigy. So, what pet is going to be at the number 2 spot? We have to give it to Trample. Now, Trample is one of my personal favorite pets, and there was a time when Trample was basically my favorite pet in all of Prodigy. But here's why I think Trample was underrated. As you can see, he's a very, very small pet. He used to be this huge, you know, dinosaur, but they kind of made him smaller, so I think when that happened, people just kind of forgot about him. But when you go ahead and look at his stats, you are going to see why he's so good. Starting off, his element is physical, which is a very, very good element. As you guys know, I've said that physical and fire are probably the best 2 elements in all of Prodigy, but this is why I think Trample is so good. He has a ton of health. He has 860 health, which is a lot. He's a tank, and to back that up, his power is at 460. Now, we've seen pets in this video have 700 health, but the reason he doesn't have as much power is because his health is super, super high. 860 health is a lot of health, let me tell you. Now, his other stats are pretty decent. You can't really complain. His defense is at 570. His speed is at 410, but I truly just think Trample is a very, very good pet. It's that simple. He's a very, very good pet, and people don't talk about him much. Now, before we get to the number 1 pet, which, trust me guys, I don't know if you're going to predict, I want to give an honorable mention, and honestly, maybe it's just because I'm biased towards this pet because I like it a lot, but honorable mention goes to Hot Pot. I feel like Hot Pot is a very, very good pet. He's fire element with a decent amount of health and a decent amount of power, along with 770 for his defense. I think he is a very, very good pet, and I feel like I'm the only one who really talks about him, but I absolutely love Hot Pot. Maybe I'm just slightly biased, I don't know, but I would say Hot Pot is a very, very underrated pet. I would easily use him in battle any day of the week, and he would help you out a lot. But with that, we have made it to the number 1 pet on this list, and this pet not only has an amazing element, he has a bunch of health and some pretty good amounts of power, and I clearly think he's an underrated pet, which is why he's getting the number 1 spot. In my opinion, the most underrated pet in Prodigy is Luminex. 620 health, 760 power, physical element. Guys, if you don't have him already, please use Luminex. He's insane. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.